Great.
Maybe.
I think you did. I do remember seeing your name down there, Greg, and I'm not sure if you did or not. That kind of helps us plan, obviously, but is not always a challenge, but sometimes it's difficult. So we want to thank you for coming. We're going to talk about video today, and how many of you right now in your business use in any way? How do you? I'm sorry, your name is
Roger Kelly.
Roger. How do you use video in your business?
I'm a startup, so my product's finally ready to market, and I created a video a year ago using it along with a social media campaign.
Wait a minute, you did it a year ago. It must be stale now, right?
No.
Isn't that cool? It's not, is it?
No.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, I made some mistakes. I didn't show the product enough, so I didn't show them how to buy it.
Yeah.
They put a price on, so
That's
you
okay.
know, but I can add it.
Well, the nice thing about if you don't put prices on it, Roger, is you can then be flexible and add prices someplace else. You know, on screen, if you use YouTube, you can put little things called annotations on there, and that way you can be flexible and change. Neat. Anyone? Did you say you use video?
No, I just had a video made this past weekend, and then when I saw this class being advertised last week, I put two and two together, and there's one here right now.
Great. Who else raised their hand? This video? Use some video.
I've used it with clients in the past. Franchise that teaches English to children, very popular in Europe in particular. So we had two kinds of videos, commercial type videos, actual production commercials, and also the franchise owner would speak with the other franchisees through periodic videos.
Okay. All right. So yours was yours more live streaming video? Or was
No,
it
she didn't. The time zones were a mess, but
Okay.
yeah. Often we translated. We did a lot of translating on YouTube, annotation.
Yeah.
We learned to use it well.
Yeah. Cool. So you're familiar with that. So for those of you who didn't raise your hand, why are you here? What do you want to get out of this morning? What would you say? What would be the ideal thing for you to get out of this morning?
Before I go back through and edit again, I want to learn how to use it more effectively. Okay, I got like 180 hits is all. But okay, I want it to go viral. Obviously, you know, so.
Keep that word viral handy, because I'm going to come back to you in a little bit.
Oh, great.
With the
Because
video,
we might need to quarantine you.
Yeah.
get one bite out of that apple, make a
Exactly.
first impression. And I've been on websites and looked at their video, and within seconds, if it didn't capture, if it was hokey, if it just didn't represent, if it didn't appeal to me, I'd be off to the next clip.
Okay.
So I want to prevent that.
All right. So capture their and this first video we're going to watch from. By the way, we're going to expose you to a lot of videos this morning, so you can see this. So you can see how we use captivation that first 3 to 5 seconds, or we don't, right? And see how effective it is.
I work for a construction company, so I know the way social media is going and how technology is. Everyone wants to see visuals and they want it instantly. So as far as in the construction business, I feel like showing a before and after video or showing in the process of how effective for the clients.
Great. Great. Now, do you have somebody within your organization who would be doing the video, or is that up to you?
That would be up to me.
Okay. I mean, hey, let's face it. I mean, it's almost like any kind of video, whether it's, I'll use weight loss as an example, the before and after. That's compelling, right? All of a sudden you say, hey, here was the dirt. Here's this beautiful structure, whatever it is and how it functions. And then walk us through it. And, you can compress that down. We'll show how, we can take something that would take a long time if we stood there and watched, months, right?
Mm-hmm.
And put it into minutes and say, hey, they look like they did a good job. They did a great job. Good. Thanks. And I'm sorry, your name?
Veronica.
Veronica, nice to meet you. Welcome. In the back. Nope, that's you.
Oh, me?
No. What would you like to learn, Ron? From Ron is our representative from SCORE. We'll talk about that in a second. But Ron, anything you would like to learn this morning? You say, I didn't know this about video and I'd like to use it a different way.
Well, I know this is a new presentation today we're doing, and so I want to find out what's new. And again, we change the presentations all the time. So just because you might see a video 1 to 2 months, it does not mean it's going to be the same. So this just keeps you on top of what's going on. So it's always worthwhile coming back to learn more and more and more.
Yeah. And Roger saw us this morning. We were making sure we were going to use the right slides on this video because it is very new. Okay, next.
I haven't got a website up yet, but I definitely will watch video of me touring a home with a homeowner for the first time with an iPad that's got a checklist of all the services we offer, where I just click, on what he wants, and then, that portable printers, maybe I can get something like that to actually print him out a contract right there at the moment, have him sign it, so I don't have to come back again. And but the video and hosting somebody in a really nice home, I possibly do it at my aunt and uncle's. They live in La Quinta, in a pretty nice place. But I'd like it to be in a larger home, more like a state.
Okay.
I want to appeal to the higher end market.
Right. Okay, good. As a new guest this morning, yes.
Jennifer, I don't know how this would work into what I do. I'm still moving my way through.
Okay.
So
Would it be something to
I'm a caregiver.
caregiver? Okay,
But I
good.
want to brand myself as an informational caregiver also. I've learned a lot of stuff. And I see a lot of mistakes out there that are made. And I work with high-end clients, and they're a lot more demanding. And you can't go in and approach it like you can with somebody that's like in lower income bracket.
Right.
It has to be done totally differently, from the way you dress to the way you present yourself, because you're their liaison between them and the outside world. So I'm still looking to see how that would do.
Huge trust factor, I bet.
Pardon?
A huge trust factor needs to be built.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Good.
And a lot of times the family's not present, so you represent the person.
Great. You'll see that video will bridge that gap for you. You
Right.
can use that. Okay. What would you like to eat out of this morning?
See what's new.
Okay.
See what's new. And if I really love music in my own business.
Great. Well, for those of you, maybe your first time here, is everybody familiar with the organization called SCORE? Are you remember? Okay. SCORE is an organization. It's a national organization. It's funded by our tax dollars and the SBA. And what they're a group of people that are retired that have had extreme success in their business lives. Whatever it is, you name it, they have it. So if whatever you're looking for as a mentor, they're there to get it. How many of you ever had a mentor in your life at any point? Has it been beneficial?
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So
Absolutely.
how many have never had a mentor? You've kind of always done it on your own. Yeah, you know what? Sometimes it's hard. There's always these sayings, never hike alone, never dive alone. You should never run a business by yourself. And these people are there to help you. Now, here's the best part. They're there because they want to be there. They want to share their wealth of knowledge. And so they're there for no charge. They're there as long as you want to use them, anything you want to use them. Now, here's the neatest part, I think, besides the pricing, is there are 13,000 of these people around the country. So let's say you go in and see Ron, and Ron doesn't have an answer right away, or there's no one in the office. I think there's about 30 to 40 SCORE volunteers there. If they don't have somebody, they'll get on the line and get them on the line right then, or internet them in. So it's a FaceTime type of call. They'll get an answer for you, and they'll get the right person. So those are just some of the things you can do. They're located in Palm Desert at 43100 Cook Street in Suite 104. So anytime you're looking at that, and by the way, at the end of the day today, Ron will be available. So if anybody says, hey, let me just find out a little bit more, okay? And then at the end, Ron might have something as far as an upcoming event or what we can do. He'll announce that at the end. We won't talk about that right now, okay? So let's get started. First of all, video you, and this is that says,
Right here, you got a question.
oh, I'm sorry.
I forgot to ask you, do most people have a friend shoot this on an iPhone video for them, or even a video camera?
Yeah, as an example, here's how simple it can be. If you'll turn over here, this is Amy. This is our business partner, Amy, over here. And if you have a video camera going, that's to actually capture, and we'll edit it for later. But what we're live streaming today, so if you didn't make it, or those people, by the way, thank you for joining us today live streaming, those people who are watching at home, they can watch us here. We're running this right off our webcam on our computer. And then we have an external mic, so we have good sound. In fact, I'm going to turn it just a little bit. There we go. So I have better sound. Okay. And so it can be that simple. You can use your iPhone. I would recommend if you're going to use an iPhone and you're going to videotape somebody, please, please, please put it on a tripod. And you say, well, I'm pretty steady, but I can guarantee after doing probably close to 3,500 videos in our business, when there's a little bit of shake, you know who sees it? The client. And I swear we were steady, okay? Or they hear that little bit of wind noise. So be very careful with that. And you can see this. This is we have a lot of these. We pull them out instead of using real expensive or heavy, more importantly, heavy tripods. We use light stands. You can go to, and this is not a plug for them, but you can go to Camera West over on Highway 111 in Rancho Mirage. You can pick those up for like $30 versus if you go and buy a real nice tripod, you spend $300 or $400 and above for that. Okay, so we'll get into all that today. But if you notice, it says videos working hard for small business. If I said the word convergence, what does that mean to you? Any idea?
Bringing two things together or several things together for one picture.
Yeah, the timing is absolutely perfect. It's their favorite dessert, and on their own, they're just ingredients. But when you put them all together, you go, man, that is delicious. I got to have more of that. Well, we're in that stage right now where we have technology that is consistently and constantly advancing, and we have a very hungry market that would rather watch it on video than read about it. Anybody in here like that? I'd say I'd rather watch a 3-minute video than read a 30-minute document. Yeah, you'd rather read a 30-minute document?
No, I from experience, I have a little caveat on that. How-tos, when you're looking for information and you're giving instructional advice, I found a lot of people, and myself included, I prefer to read a good document that I can scan through quickly and find, I don't want to go back. So maybe bookmarking on the videos is really important.
Yeah. Here's an example of that, and I'm glad you brought that up because we have a new client with us, and we're actually creating an online video tutorial because his product he says it's not hard to install. But if you've never done this, it can be very challenging. So we do it both ways. Here's a PDF download that you can put on there, but here's also a click, and you can watch the video, and you can watch it over and over and over if you want to. So it's a step-by-step. Personally, because 90% of our brain, and you'll see this in a second, we are hardwired visually. So when I have to look at something, all of a sudden it has all this fine print, my brain goes, and see if I'm not alone, my brain goes, oh crap, this is going to be really hard. I don't know if I want to really get in this. Let me just kind of see what I can do. I remember as a kid trying to put a bike together, and here's all the information. I'm like, let me just wing it. All of a sudden I'm going, I don't know if the handlebars are supposed to be like this, but I would fix it. So video will help bridge that gap. So before we get started, I want you to know, ask any questions. Stop us if it doesn't make sense. Because what we're going to do is I intentionally went back, and these are some of our oldest first videos. So you're going to see how terrible they are. And I did it intentionally because I want you to realize perfection is just an excuse for failure. If you're waiting to say, well, man, ship it. Okay? The only thing I want you to really be good at is gathering sound. We'll put up with some bad lighting, we'll put up some shadows, that kind of stuff, but when the sound is bad, we'll shut you off. So worst case scenario, get your sound right. Okay? So let's go start it. Yep. So here's the first video. I want you to watch this. This is a video made about 2 years ago, but it's still incredibly relative today.
According to a recent study about web use, the average attention span online in 2012 was 8 seconds, somewhat shorter than that of a goldfish. Alarming if you're trying to capture an audience's attention in an otherwise noisy online world. You need content that engages your customers quickly. If you have a story to tell, there is no better way of telling it than using the power of the video. 90% of information transmitted to the brain is visual, and visuals are processed 60,000 times faster in the brain than text. In fact, viewers spend 100% more time on web pages with videos on them, and 85% are more likely to purchase a product after watching a video. Videos communicate messages quickly and simply. They entertain, impress, and are more likely to be shared. You've almost reached the end of this video. Congratulations. You are better than a goldfish.
So this is just kind of a quick 30,000 foot. Maybe I didn't know this about video. Just yesterday, it was told that year over year, video is up 100% in consumption. I mean, it's pretty amazing. 100%. I mean, if you grew your business 100%, would that be good or great?
Right now, it wouldn't be that good. I'm so small, but
But I guarantee you know, not talking trash, but if you doubled your business, what would you do? You would increase people, right? And that's a champagne problem. Okay. So if you put a video out, here's the cool thing. When you put a video out there, just like this video we talked about earlier, Roger, this is 2 years old, but it's still so relevant today. That 85% of the people, when they watch a video, make a decision, is still relevant. The difference is we're watching it on our cell phones when we're about ready to go to dinner or we're about ready to buy something. We say, who is the best at this? When we watch a video, if we like it, we consume it. It takes us 85% down the buying path or the selling path before I ever walk in your store and say, I don't have to get to know and like you because I already did it. I just have to confirm you have my product. So making a video about walking through someone's home and why you did it, what's going on, that's part of that. So it's a selling video without having to say, buy me, buy me, buy me. But it's letting them get to know, like, and trust us. Does that make sense? Okay. So the next one is, this is a video that is very interesting. And I want you to think about this because I'm going to give you a little clue, okay? But not yet. Does it stick? When you make a video that makes a point, like when you watch a video, as an example, how many of you in the video we just watched can tell me the percentage that we process with our brain, visual?
90%.
90%, 85. 85 is not bad. But what was the 85% number? Do you remember?
How many
In the
people-
video before? What was an 85% number?
How you learn.
How your brain processes.
Yeah. Cool. You'll watch this. Okay, here we go. This is a video just recently put out by a company.
Okay, sit. Feel guilty already. Does this thing actually work or not?
Now we're going to get to proving whether you truly love golf. Do you love golf?
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes, I love golf.
Just answer yes or no. Do you keep your clubs in a safe?
No.
Have you insured your swing?
No.
Do you keep your caddy in a safe?
I should.
Yes. Yes, you should. Have you insured your swing?
No, but I had insurance on myself.
Like on your face, your beautiful face?
No, but I wouldn't that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Are your parents disappointed that you skipped college to become a wealthy, successful, world-famous champion?
No.
If your putter was being taken by a linebacker, would you try to tackle him?
Yes. Yes. No.
That putter is important to you.
Yes.
Would you give up golf to make more time for golf?
I don't even know what that means.
Exactly. Do you have a nickname for your driver?
Great Bambino.
Jamie, do you love golf more than your wife's cooking?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
I mean, yes.
Do you love golf more than your mom's cooking?
Depends what she's cooking.
Do you have any tattoos?
No.
The tattoos you don't have, are they golf related? Have you ever looked in the mirror and said, I'm amazing?
Yeah.
You have, haven't you?
Every morning. Yes.
Because you are, Billy.
Thank you.
Just yes and no. Did you pass out first at the Ryder Cup after party?
No.
Was it Justin Rose? He's not going to see this, was it Justin Rose? Have you ever let someone beat you on a friendly round?
No.
Not very friendly then.
No.
Congratulations. You have passed the test confirming that you do truly love golf.
Yes. Thank you.
We were all wrong. True lover of golf
Awesome.
trophy. Sir, I
Love it.
imagine you're very proud.
Thank you. Don't photobomb this. Is that postable?
Yes, that's awesome.
Okay.
How old is this video?
This is about 2 weeks. Yeah, it's not very old.
I do.
Yeah. So, how many of you know the company Zurich? Yeah, maybe heard of it, not sure exactly what it is. So what they did is, when you look at that video, did it look like it was expensive to make?
Yes.
Yes, no? You say no, why?
Yeah. Well, I see a lot of movies. I didn't see a lot of special effects or anything. I saw a person sitting there. You know, it looked like it was edited very well, but it didn't look like it was expensive to shoot it.
Yeah. They could,
Weren't those people that are sitting, I'm not a golfer, so, but golfers, weren't those high-end golf professionals?
Are they compensated?
And they were more than likely compensated.
I'll bet you. Now think about this. What was the commercial about? Who sponsored?
Zurich Insurance.
Who do you think is sponsored by Zurich? And they do play professional golf.
They were all wearing the shirts.
Yeah.
Don't you think Zurich is part of their sponsor?
Right.
You bet. So this is
Yeah.
probably their commitment for the money that they get paid. They have to do these commercials.
Right.
Okay. So here's some of the kind of the cool things I want you to think about. Was it entertaining?
Yes.
What did you like most about it?
The jokes. It was just like, it was kind of blunt in a subtle way.
Yeah. What did you like most about it?
It was fast moving, lighthearted. What's she gonna ask next? It was captivating.
Yeah.
I would say that the copywriting was perfect,
You're right.
because that was really high.
Yeah, because it was all shot. You were very, very much right on the point. Is it was shot in one location. You could have shot that video with one camera.
Right.
Okay.
That's true.
You could have shot that in a park. Notice in the back, it was like you can tell, were they inside or outside, Roger?
Outside.
Outside. But could you tell exactly where they were? No. All they did was they blurred out the back end, right?
Assume
So you
they
could
were
have done.
golfers.
What's that?
You assume they were golfers.
You assume. See, because they're golfers. That could have been shot in a park, public place that you could film in, right? So it's a very inexpensive shot. There are no special effects. It was branded. You probably could have made that video for probably less than $1,000. You know, paying somebody to do it.
Do
Yes.
you think the sound was shot on scene because of the background noise of being in a public place? Do you think that it was?
Yes. I bet it was. I'll bet it was shot a couple of ways. First of all, it probably didn't let anybody get very close to them, but they were probably had a boom mic. See these mics on top of here? If you're going to videotape and you're going to be in one stationary location, that is the best sound you can get. Don't get misunderstood and say, well, that's a wireless mic. The reason a wireless mic might work is, or not work, is let's say I'm zooming in on you. Would her voice be pretty pronounced, pretty loud? I mean, it would be clear, right? But what if I shot from here and then I zoom out? If her voice doesn't change, is that a clue that, hey, something's not right? As I get further away from somebody, does it go up or down? Down. So if I have that kind of mic on there, guess what? I can manually move that away, and that is your best sound. Okay. So if you're going to be in one location fairly close, you can put a lavalier mic on there, and you can get a lavalier mic off of Amazon for $35, and it'll do the trick. Okay. I think it's called an ATR 3590. I think. What's that? Yeah. But anyway, if you go on wired mics, and we have wired mics that have a 20-foot range. So I mean, 20 feet, that's quite a ways away. So you're not standing right on top of it. You can use these on your cell phones. And I recommend you do. Because the further you get away from your cell phone, remember what I said, what was the most important? Let's see how our attention was. What's the most important thing with shooting video?
Sound.
Sound. So now if I'm 20 feet back, because I don't want you to just, your whole face to consume your screen, and I move 20 foot back, what do I lose if I don't have the sound?
Clarity on it.
Absolutely.
I was in the music business.
So you know exactly. I kind of sensed something. I thought you were in information business for caregiver.
But I was in the music business a long time ago, so I know the power
You
of
rock.
sound and the clarity coming through.
Cool.
Yeah, I
Okay.
have a friend out there that has a top recording studio.
Interesting. Okay. So let's go on. Oh, by the way, is there if you saw something later on, what would it be that would remind you of this video? What's that? Zurich? What else?
Golf hats.
Golf hats?
Insuring your swing? I've never heard of that.
Yeah.
It makes sense because we're actually insure his hands and other people insure their legs if they're dancers.
Absolutely.
What he said.
Okay.
I looked at the association of each professional golfer with their own sponsor. Each had their shirts and hats on and they were all different. So I'm assuming that the sponsors had some kind of financial arrangement with Zurich for the video.
But what would make you remember them later? Like you would see them and it would remind you of this video. Was there anything in there that would do that for you?
Just that they were professional golfers for this. I'm not so sure somebody would remember that it was an insurance company.
Gotcha.
I would remember the fact that you have these professional athletes coming down several levels and just speaking like a regular person.
Yeah.
And enjoying it.
Okay, Roger, anything there that would say, hey, if I saw something again, we'll call it a trigger. Is there anything out there in the marketplace where you go and say, you'd see it and you remind you of this video because it was entertaining?
There was one hat that stood out, ping.
Ah, how good is that?
Okay, so if I see a ping hat, I want to think Zurich, maybe. Yeah.
This is real important. If you didn't get this, write it down. What's in our marketplace that I could associate my product with every time somebody drives by it, they think of my business. Aloha Benz, right? What could they think about? Like for us, we do a lot of association with every small business in the Valley. We make small business videos. So if you drive by somebody and you've seen our video, do you remember them? Yes, because you see them physically, but you might remember our video, right? Okay, so keep that in mind. What's triggers? So less equals more. When we add senses, we get more emotional attachment. That's kind of the know, like, and trust. It's like if I just talk to you over the phone versus I see you physically and we have coffee, which one makes a stronger emotional attention or connection? Over the phone or sitting across having coffee together or a beverage?
Phone.
So you make better physical connection, emotional connection by having someone that's not there. You can't see them, feel them, and touch them over the phone. You get a better physical connection.
No, not always.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. What do you think?
In person.
In person, yeah.
Body language.
Body language, you bet. We pick up a lot of those cues, even if we're not looking for them. We realize that. Like when I see a Roger, I could misunderstand. Say, well, Roger's bored with this. No, he's leaning in, so he's listening. It's like, hey, some of this stuff is interesting, right? Yes, sir.
85%.
Yeah.
The other important factors I just thought of is that none of those people were nervous. Not even the interviewers.
They're paid actors.
They weren't nervous at all.
Yeah.
And a normal person would tend to get a little nervous when they're going to be on the camera for something.
Notice what that's a good point. Notice what they did. Were they talking to each other or were they presenting something to the camera?
How many edits do you believe that were there, though? I mean, how many times did they shoot that particular
I'll bet
question?
there were very, when somebody, we see it all the time, don't we, Amy? We'll see somebody, we'll be talking about it, and we'll say, okay, now let's make sure you know what you're going to talk about. And you say, okay, we'll do a little rehearsal before we turn the camera on. And then I'll step out, Amy will be behind the camera, also it's like, crap, I forgot what I was going to say, right? So here is something, and now you'll get it. It was an interview. They were talking to each other. The camera almost didn't exist, right? So if you have an opportunity when you're doing testimonials, whether you're talking to a homeowner or whatever it may be, try to put it into an interview type state. It'll make it easier for both of you. As an example, if I said, Roger, do me a favor, and we're on camera. Do me a favor, Roger, what are the 3 most important factors someone needs to know about your business before writing a check?
3 most important factors?
Yes.
They can trust me and they trust my product. I put my name on it.
So as an example, if there's a camera running, would that look and feel real? You bet, because we're having a conversation. So anytime you put an interview stage, it takes it way down instead of standing in front of the camera. Because all of a sudden we see that camera going, oh, we're talking to millions of people. Talk to one person, your ideal client, okay? Interview. So less equals more. Let's do this. This is when we can take something from statistically a 30-minute written content down to a 3-minute video. These are, and again, I want to preface this by saying these are incredibly old videos. This is when we started our business and we want to get our message out there. These are designed that we'd send them via email. These were follow-ups with our client. Okay, so it's okay to laugh and point at me because I was that person standing in front of that video. And I did take several takes. Okay?
This one?
It's ready. Yep.
So cute.
Oh, no, that's not it.
Hi.
No. No.
Which one is it?
Go to that one.
No, which one? There's no link on that one. That one?
Nope.
That one?
Keep going. Nope. Okay, it's not there. Cool. Well, then let's just play that one.
This one?
Not that one.
First one?
Yep, that's it.
Hey, I'm Jeff Harrison with Swing Point Media. My partner and I, Amy Anderson, own a company called My City Business Review. And what they are is they're short 1 to 3 minute videos for your business. Now, one of the reasons you should use
Can you hold it
video
there for just a
on
second?
your website or when you're advertising is pretty.
Did you notice what happened there?
You're talking fast.
Talking fast. No, okay, maybe I'm talking fast for you. What else happened there that was a positive? There was a pop-up. So for those people who like to read, right, I keep their attention. And you try to put something in there every now and then, or they kind of start staring away. You ever do that when you're driving? I won't tell anybody. And all of a sudden you're going, geez, I've gone 3 blocks. I didn't even really blink. And I'm okay, right?
The camera loves you.
It does love me.
You show it very well on video. Some people don't photograph that way. You photograph beautifully.
Thank you. There's a lot of airbrushing going on there. So the idea is if you can, like when you say, hey, what are those 3 key points? Like, let's go back to Roger. The 3 key points, make sure when you say them, they pop up. They put them on there. That's a great, what we call annotation. Okay, because now it reinforces that message. Does that make sense? It's almost like I said, hey, make sure you write this part down. That's like a pop-up. It changes the attention. Okay, let's keep going. And we'll move through this pretty quickly because I have like 20 of them.
As the consumer, your potential customer, an opportunity to get to know you. You see, we get to see how you act, hear your voice, watch your eyes, and we get an opportunity to see who you are versus read about you in a flyer or a newspaper ad. Video brings you, the owner, to life. Thanks for joining us. I'm Jeff Harrison with Swing Point Media.
So these are just little simple videos. Hey, why do we do them? Now, how many of you noticed I spoke very little about our business? What did I fill it with?
The pop-up ad.
Pop-up ad. What else?
And key points of what the benefits of the videos.
You bet. When you're making videos, make sure you make videos that benefit your ideal client. Even your about videos, which you can do on your web page. That's one of the most highly trafficked page on your website. Is they want to know more about you. At the end of the day, they want to know, can you help them? And if it's just about, well, I went to school this long and I did this and I hiked the Himalayas and I did this with a snake one time, you don't really want to know about that. You want to know, hey, what's in it for me? Can you get the job done? Yes or okay? So that's when you can take a message. If you had to read that, it would be long and laborious. It'd be about a probably that little video is 2 minutes long. It'd be about a 10 or 12 minute written thing that you would read. I have a better chance of you watching a 2-minute video. Okay, next. What in your business could you show versus tell? So this is now, I want you to have some feedback. What in your business could you show versus tell?
My business, show the results that are online business management.
So you do things like build websites, yes?
Also.
Okay, so could you, as an example, instead of telling me how you do it, you could probably do some screenshots and show here, this is how we started, here's the process, and all of a sudden here's a beautiful functioning type of thing, right? I want to know, is there an opt-in? What's an opt-in? If everybody doesn't know, it's an opt-in. Now you can show it. And what does it do? And what does it do to the fund? All those things you could show me. All right, Roger, how about you? What could you show versus tell?
I need to show the benefit of my product, how it works for the individual.
By the way, what is your product? Is it legal?
Yeah. That's my product.
bear. So what exactly does this do? Like, if, as an example, wait a minute, before you're saying, if anyone saw this, even online, okay, would you immediately know the benefits of this?
It's a cookie.
It's a cookie with, it looks like a pop.
Yeah, it just goes in the shower.
Goes in the shower. Does it grow hair like those little things that, you know,
Chia pets.
chia pet, only it's a bear pet?
It's an exfoliator.
It's exfoliator.
Washer.
Okay. Now, how many of you have known that besides one or two? And maybe you're guessing that you just passed right by it, right? So, as an example, give me one benefit. If I use this, why would I choose a bear over, you know, somebody else scrubbing my back with a loofah sponge?
First off, you've been married 45 years. It's hard to get your wife in there.
That's a big
You
deal.
might have a point there.
That's it.
But here's the thing. It's always, you wash their back first, then they wash yours, okay?
No, really.
It's a family program here. Okay.
It works. I mean, you just lean into it. And
So that mounts onto the wall. Great, there you go. Hands-free.
Hands-free.
There you go. Wouldn't that be a nice selling point? Hands-free. Because I still can't
You can't
touch
reach.
that one little spot's
Yeah.
about this big in my back. Some of you probably can. I can't.
I
Okay.
can't either.
But if it's on the wall, now I have an inclination of why you did this, but why did you make it a bear?
Bear scratches on the tree.
Exactly. So wouldn't you have, if you don't have that, wouldn't that be one of those things you say, you know what? We all see a bear scratching on there. Wouldn't that be a cool logo? And every time you saw that, don't they see? I think there's a tissue out there. Sure. So how cool is that? Every time I saw a Charmin commercial, I would think of you too.
Well,
How's
you
that
know
for a
that
trigger?
thing does the wild bear poo in the woods. That's why they use the Charmin.
That's it. I think the heater came on, Dan. Sorry about that. So again, there's one. What else? What else could we use?
Before and after.
Before and after. Yeah. What else?
That's what I was gonna say. I organize homes and business offices, so before and afters are the.
Perfect. Okay. Anyone else? What would you use? Yes, sir.
One of the things that's real effective in my home watching business is showing photos or short video of the damage that certain things cause to the home while you're gone for 6 months,
You bet.
especially a flood. It could be an earthquake hits in Canada. I met a woman who I didn't ask her about her alarm system, but must have been a professional thief. He broke the sliding glass door, and nobody heard it. And he got it, and he stole $1 million piece of art off the wall. That's all he took.
Wow.
And she said she has no idea how many months her home was open. You know, that
Letting
would be a
everything in.
great little testimonial or a photo, or a break-in, something like that.
Yeah. Okay. So that would be more convincing, right?
Yeah.
Like we're doing it for a client right now. We're creating a product, and he does home flood prevention business. Amy just had a little flood at her house last week, and in 20 minutes there was 4 inches of water on the floor, and it was several thousands dollars just to clean it up, not fix it, just clean it up.
Yeah.
Okay. And it's not done. It's probably going to take, I would say, all in all, from the time it broke to the time it back to normal, I bet it's going to take a month or two. Oh, excuse me. She says 3 months by the time it gets all the way back to normal, getting the contractor in there, all that stuff. So it's not just the financial factors. All those people have to come in and work on a home. Do they want to have to deal with that? No. Get it done right now. Okay, so we're right on top of that. All right. So next. So the customers get to know you, accelerating the buying and selling cycle. We've already seen that, whether we get to know us. But here's the thing. When you're talking about the benefits of your product, think about if you're in a store and somebody's telling you about the product. Are you evaluating the product and also the authenticity of the person telling you about that information? Yeah. If their eyes are shifting away and they're checking their cell phone, they're looking at their messages, and they're trying to tell you about making a decision, how do you feel about that? Does it help or hurt? It hurts. Well, that's happening. So if you notice that, you mentioned it, hey, I make good eye contact, right? I'm talking to the camera, and you want to talk to the camera. Camera's my best friend. You want to talk to them. Next. What key things that would make people know, like, or trust you more would you want to share in a video? I want you to be very specific. What key things? Give me at least 3 key things that you want people to know about you or your business in a video.
I would say quality,
Okay.
trust.
Okay.
Work ethic, I would say. Work ethic.
Okay. Good. Here's one of the things that I would recommend that you do. Before you decide what to make your video about, why don't you search the internet and find out what your ideal customers, their biggest challenges are. Okay, now this is big. You should be writing this down or certainly put it in your brain and saying, if I'm going to build something, make sure I have an audience. Like as an example, if I am, gosh, I don't know, maybe I train elephants. How hard would it be for me to survive here in the desert? But I moved here because I like the weather. I should have moved someplace where they have elephants that they want to train, right? So as an example, now what's your biggest challenge of your ideal client?
Competitors. Obviously competitors and the trust that I have to gain based on.
Now wait a second, time out. That's your biggest challenge.
Right.
I'm your potential customer. What's my biggest challenge? Thinking about this, because I'm going to come around and ask you guys. Give me one. What's the biggest challenge I face is price. Price. Is it price or is it quality? Quality. Okay. So your video would want to address that, right? Okay. Because you don't want to get to the point where you're just giving your price away, right? Because then it's just a commodity. You want to make it unique in what you do and build value. What would you do?
Time.
Time. Time. Lack of or too much?
As far as the client is concerned, lack of.
Lack of. Great. Okay.
My 3 things would probably be in this particular time right now: water conservation, eco-friendly, avoiding wastewater runoff in the storm drains or in the streets, and the eradication of the germs and bacteria that are in and around the trash can.
Okay. So those are, now let me ask you, did that sound complicated? Like eco-friendly and, wastewater? Exactly. Your average client may not. Like as an example, we were talking earlier, Amy's nephew is in charge of doing what he does. Does he care about eco-friendly? Does he care about wastewater? Does he care about saving any water? What does he care about?
Just getting the job done out of the sun.
Not having to do it themselves, right? Like as an example, we once had somebody come in here and their job was to go around, they have clients, a consistent base. They go around and they scoop dog poo out of the yards. Well, why didn't, as a kid, there was no service for that. It was called Jeff, right? I had to do that kind of stuff. Yes. So
I agree. That's all.
Exactly. Not that. Okay. So in that case, if my wife said, Jeff, it's time for you to wash out the bin, I'm like, all I can now is conjure up, it's going to be a mess, the smell, that kind of stuff. That's increasing the pain. How would you like to avoid that? See, if you did something like that, you got my attention. I'd somehow make it fit in my budget, right? That's what I'm going to do. Like as an example, if I'm looking for something I can't find, what I'm going to do is I want you to see me run around the house getting frantic and finally getting so upset because I can't find my keys. Or I can't find that one little thing that it should have someplace to go, right? Not about how great you are. You show me, you don't tell me. Okay? Roger? Well, I think you can just, maybe not in the shower, but you could be like this, say, you ever see why a bear does this? Why do they do that? Because it feels good. Imagine this in your shower. What's that?
Would you like to do that?
Yeah. Wouldn't you like a purr like a cat and be the size of a bear? No. Okay. Does this make sense? What would you, Greg? What would you show that you wouldn't tell?
Well, before you said that, I was thinking reliability, trust, and precision.
This is why videos don't go viral, gang.
Yeah. What would I show?
What would you show?
I would demonstrate to some degree the most important parts of an inspection, a weekly walkthrough. I think.
Okay, that's okay. Now, it's easier for me up here to think about this stuff. Okay, if I'm you, this is what I do. And again, you should be recording this because this is probably $1 million video idea that you could do for under $1,000. And here's the thing, $1,000 sounds like a lot of money, but if it's working 24/7 and it gets you customers, it is the least expensive thing you'll ever invest in. How about you go ahead and you videotape a camera, or excuse me, a family, and they're packing up. Obviously, you don't have to say anything, but they're packing up, getting ready fully for the season, right? You see them flying out or driving away and waving at the neighbors. Pretty cheap, right? Then you see nightfall on the house. Now what could you could stick anything in there. Somebody breaking in, a water main breaking, something as simple as a toilet valve popping off that comes out at 189 gallons of water per minute through a 1/4-inch line. It doesn't take long to make a mess. We had a client one time, this was a friend of ours, they were gone for 5 months because they're in Canada. Excuse me, 6 months. I don't want to get them in trouble. They had to be gone in 6 months. When they came back, they had 146,000 gallons of water that leaked in their house over the 6 months. It wasn't a big leak, gang. It was a toilet dripping. 146,000 gallons later. Guess what they did the whole 6 months they were down? They had to live in a hotel room while their whole house was being done. Now, here's the tragic part of it. They live on the island in Vancouver, or Vancouver Island. When they went back, they had a big storm surge and flooded their house there.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness.
So now they went home. So for a whole year. Now, could you see how that would change if all of a sudden, but it can all be made happy times by just having someone come in and weekly do this. Now, did you have to say all that? Could you just show all of that? Very inexpensive, but if you spend $1,000, man, you'd have a video that now it addresses my needs, wants, and desires, and I'm calling you, right? Because that's a picture you never forget. Because every time I pick up the suitcase, what do I think about? Is that water turned off? Is somebody going to break in? Right? Yeah. See, is that now? Could you all be there? Could you see that happening to you, or could you see it happening? Period, not to you. That's the power of video, gang. What else?
Would I show in my video? What would I show?
Yeah. Boy, yours is a heart wrencher. Yours is an emotional thing. I'm thinking.
I don't know. Maybe making a connection with people, because in my business, compassion and expertise and connection are like.
Yeah. I'm getting this in my head. Some of the if I had to make a video for it, it'd be something like this. There are a few things in our life that are very valuable. Our kids, our cars, and I'm trying to make connections now. So every time I see these, maybe our jewelry,
Right.
pictures that are memories, but our parents.
Absolutely.
And as they age, what's going to happen?
Right.
They fall down, they break a hip, they get whatever. They can all be taken care of through this simple process. And then I'd say something like, here are the top 3 things that happen as our parents get older. We can kind of sometimes see this happening, but it can all be avoided through this process. And you're the answer. Does that make sense?
A lot of times too, they want a playmate when you're there. They want somebody that they can do things with. They want a playmate.
They just want to sit in a room and look at their pictures.
Yeah,
Right?
right.
Right? Cool.
So it when you do with somebody, it has to be a fit.
Yeah. Okay. Last. Oh, sorry. You had a
I was
point?
going to ask you a question because I'm starting to get into it. I'm also in that position. Who are the decision makers usually to hire your services? Is it children or
Usually the children, and then they see if the parent, if the parent and you have a connection. But usually, a lot of times the children, and they go through an agency or they go one-on-one. I've went both ways.
Yeah, see, we've done some things for a couple of agencies or an agency here in the desert. So we would then transform you from now you're at their home and you're looking at the pictures, you're looking at things that are valuable, and all of a sudden, how would this be taken care of? I mean, we have one of our clients, there's a big open room, and guess what? It has a huge TV in there, and most of these people are, they're older, right? In their day and age, no such thing as a computer or internet streaming live. Right. And one day we're in there filming, guess what they were doing? They were going back on Google Maps and they were doing street level views of where they grew up as kids. See them transform right in front of your eyes.
Right.
See, I can't say that, but I can show it. And all of a sudden I think, this is where I want my mom or dad to be. How cool is that, right? Do you think that would help the people that you work with? Do you think they would volunteer to say, yeah, you can be in our video?
Oh, sure.
Because you're sending them business, right? I mean, you're not housing them in your home, right? So those are the kind of things you can do. And again, you could probably do that for about $1,000. And I mean, it's a video that now you have to say, well, how much is easy?
Two sides of it too. I want to do something for the caregivers. There's a lot of stuff out there for caregivers that are like the children of the parents, family caregivers, but nothing for the paid caregivers.
Yeah.
You know, and it's very isolating business. A lot of times if you're taking care of someone that's checked out, you know, you're isolated.
Yeah. Yeah. My sister-in-law did
So I
that
want
for
to
like
do,
6
I want
years.
to handle both sides of it.
Yeah.
Set yourself up as the expert.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Good. What could you show versus tell?
I'm not sure. I know that for a lot of my target audience, that often they're solopreneurs, but once they get to a certain point in their business, success-wise, they can't do it all themselves. And when they realize that they're the bottleneck, managing all their VAs, that's when they need someone to step in as a virtual general manager. I'm not sure I would show that yet and just formulating, but that's the pain point that I would need to address.
Okay.
So,
Cool.
working on it.
Okay, good, good. So we're gonna, we started a little bit late, but we promised 8:30, so we're gonna skip ahead a little bit here. Does this start to make sense a little bit? Now, you notice we didn't talk a lot about how to make the video, but we did talk about how to make the video. So what I want to show you, let's skip ahead there, Andrew, a couple slides. Oh, wait a minute, let's go back to that.
No.
Oh, gosh.
I like that special unit. Go back.
What if you created an automated thank you page? Like as an example, all of you signed up. Did everybody sign up on the iPad this morning?
I didn't.
If you would, please, or this just doesn't work.
I can't listen and.
That's okay.
do that at the same time.
That's okay.
I'd rather hear you for a minute.
I'm not going to talk for a few seconds. So
Okay. Can I ask real quick, Jeff?
yes,
Okay, if I've got a video on YouTube, can I tie an automated thank you and then direct them to the purchase instead of trying to do the purchase at the same time?
you could. Yeah, yeah. You can do that. You know, if you put an annotation on your video and it takes you back to the same website that you house that on, in other words, you're for Swing Point Media and I'm taking it to somebody else. It has to be saying, hey, this is your account, and it's taking it back to a thank you page or a selling page that you own and it's on your website, and then it's a clickable link. Okay. The other thing you can do, you can put links in your description, and you can click that on there so it takes them to those locations. Okay.
Or at least set at a time we can come and see you.
Okay, very good. So here's an example of how easy you can make your own videos. So let's say you're out there doing a construction site video, right? So now all of a sudden, I see what the other side of the camera works on. Believe it or not, this is incredibly stable. And we were doing a test one day. We were running through a parking lot and looking at the video, shockingly stable. And this allows me to get quite a ways away. Okay, this I think was $30. $30. The camera, you probably get it for probably $150. It's a high definition 1080p, so it's a real high quality, but it's very inexpensive. It has, the thing I like about this one is it has an external mic on it. So I can put the external mic on there, wrap it around, put it on here, and now when I'm walking around saying, hey, behind me is such and such, and right over here, and I can see what's being seen, right? And then if I'm interviewing somebody, I'm here with Roger, and Roger's telling us about his back scratcher. I've barely gotten into the information, but he wants to tell me about that, right? So he would tell me. So that would be a great way to do it as well. So if you don't want to spend hundreds of dollars, this is a really easy way to go. I did understand yesterday, I heard that they're not allowed at Disneyland now. Okay, so we're trying to go in there and do a selfie in Disneyland. We don't do a lot of selfies like that. We do it more that type of thing when we're out and about. This without the camera is about $30. The thing I like about this is you don't have to have this because we all have cell phones, right? So it has a cell phone attachment. You want a GoPro attachment? Has a GoPro attachment on there. You want your iPad on there? Put your iPad on there. Whatever you want to do. Okay? And then just simply upload it. So when we do this, let's keep going. Oh, I do want to say something about testimony. Testimonies are powerful. And I won't show you this video, but I know you want to watch it. It's incredibly powerful. What we did with one of our businesses, and these people, we just gathered a whole bunch of them. So we went out and got several videos now and then with our cell phone, and then we put it all together and bundled it together. It's a great testimonial video. Selling all the time. People come from us from who knows where, Roger, because they see the feedback, right? And so we put that out there. No. It is so good though, but yeah. Okay, so let's talk about this. Tools to make it happen. Whoops. 1 month. Okay, first of all, you need a script. At least have some bullet points what you're going to talk about. That'll help give clarity to your message. Okay? So if you're just going to wing it, I'm going to tell you that's not the best way to do it. Unless you've done hundreds or thousands of videos. Because I want to preface that by saying Andrew and I, many times what we do is we do a product called Tool Time Tip Tuesdays. And if you're not part of that, please join. These are every week we send out a little video. There's no charge for it. They're free. And all we do is we send out little tips on, hey, what's an autoresponder? In other words, the things we'd want to learn about internet marketing. Because we live in this environment all the time, we have a bullet points up there. Amy films us and we just say, hey, what are we talking about? Autoresponders. And we talk about that. All right. You need a capture device. What are you going to capture it on? iPad, iPhone. We've done it with all of that. iPad videos are amazing. iPhone videos are pretty darn good. They have great cameras. My only problem with those are stability. But if you get a tripod, golden. Okay. And you can have a tripod as small as this one on the table. Just get it height-wise.
Will it fit this? Or is this too heavy?
No, that'll probably fit it because it would go this way. It would go landscape. By the way, if you're using your phone, please don't take videos like this, straight up and down, unless you're on Periscope or Meerkat. Okay, do it sideways. This will give you the wide angle look. Please don't do it like this. This is like they didn't know what they were doing look, right? So if you want to look like they didn't know what they were doing, I'm going to the next video. Please do it like this. Editing software. This is where you have to start spending. No, you don't spend any money. YouTube, you can use YouTube, and YouTube will do it. You can probably edit what you need to edit at a very, I'm going to say, good level without spending a dime. You can adjust sound. They have soundtracks on there. So if you want music, it's all sound that says, hey, it's okay for you to put this sound in your background. Because if you put sound on there, you say, hey, I love that particular thing by the Eagles, and you put it up there, bang, they'll shut your video down. Or they'll just strip the sound out and everybody say, your sound's not working on your video. Sure it is, because you test on your computer, because you have the source video, and then all of a sudden it's like, it's not working, because they're going to shut it down because of copyrights. If you don't take it down, they'll fine you. Okay.
That's why you use public domain.
That's exactly right. YouTube has all that stuff. Okay. Hosting. Where are you going to put your video? Well, if you're going to use YouTube, there's your hosting. Okay. There's 4 billion videos a day watched on YouTube, and already Facebook is another place you can put it. They're at 4 billion views. So there are 8 billion views a day with video. I think there's 7.2 billion people on the planet. So if you say, well, my clients don't watch video, rethink that. We do. Okay, sharing. Where would you share these things? And I'm sorry, I'm moving very quickly, but where would you share your videos?
In terms of hoping that other people see it?
Yeah. How would you make it go, what's that word?
Viral.
Viral. Okay.
YouTube,
Facebook, okay.
And that's all I'm limited to my knowledge.
Okay, good. How many of you have any kind of a database? Emails? Do you have any emails? How many emails do you have in your business?
Like
4? That's it? Okay, well, you can build on that. Here's the good news. No, there's no good news. No, I'm just kidding. The good news is, for every name you have in there, statistically, there's about 250 people in the people you know, they have names. So if you have 4 people, you have a potential reach of 1,000 people. Now, don't get excited, because that doesn't mean Roger's going to share with all 1,000. But he's going to quickly go through his brain and tell me it's something you think, I'd like to share this with people. And you can kind of go through and say, looking through your email, oh, they would like that, they would like that. And what if an extra 10 or 15 did that? And all of a sudden you have 40 or 50 potential clients or people in your email address, right? So you'd want to share it in email. We forget about that a lot of times. We started this process with a program called Etiquette Moments, or golf videos. It went from 1 or 2 as a client coming up, because now we're over 100,000 people a week that this is shared with via the internet. Years ago, okay, and they're still very popular today. My hair wasn't quite as gray then. Okay, so these are the kind of things you could do with 5 pieces. Something that you scripted out. What's the message? Who knows your message better than you do? But when you clarify that, it may be bullet points, and then you fill it in. Okay, capture device, editing. You don't have to buy an expensive camera. We have cameras that are thousands of dollars, but you don't have to do that. These cameras on our cell phone now are almost as high quality as that is. And this is pretty mobile, but it's really hard when we walk in and say, we're going to videotape your, and we pull out our cell phones. Does that add authority? No. It's like, geez, really? That's what you're going to do?
Kid does that.
Okay. But it's amazing. You see those videos or those commercials on TV now?
Yes, yes.
Shot with an
I was
iPhone
thinking
6.
about that, right?
Man, stop that stuff. Okay. Any questions so far? Did you like this? Did it make sense?
Yes.
There are several things you can do, and it's not up here because we skipped past it. You should have an about video on your page. An about video.
What's that mean?
An about on your web page. There's typically a tab that says about. We make a very, very big mistake in thinking, well, this should be telling all about us. What do we talk about? The benefits to our potential client and how we solve it, right? As an example, most of our clients, when they're looking at doing a construction job, they don't know where to turn, so they start writing the yellow pages, and they're just, and I'd put a dartboard up there, they're just hoping they hit a winner, or they're on the crap tables at the roulette. You can go to Shutterstock and pick up a picture of that, and all of a sudden they're going, yeah, I don't want to take a chance. And this is one of the biggest things we see. These are things that we do that'll help you get past that. As an example, here's some testimonials or ideal customers. Boy, those are great selling points. But see, those are the things that they don't know. Is the quality there? Are they going to show up on time? I mean, I've had a lot of construction experience as the receiver and also remodeling product. And I tell you what, the number one thing is, you got my money, but now you don't show up.
Get the job done.
And you're not answering your phone, right? I can't text you, whatever it is. And you're a mobile office. Boy, that's troubling. These are things you can depend on us to be here because we have a storefront. Here's a location, blah, 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 25 years. Here's our number as far as, you know, our builder number, okay? So that's the about page. The other one is frequently asked questions. What are the most challenging things in your business, right? Hey, do you do closet organization? Yes, here's a video, right? Here's what we do in a typical video or a typical thing. Those can be shot very easily. Do I have to bring my bin to you, or do you come to my house? Boom, here we go, right? So frequently asked questions. You should have a home page video. That's that short one. That's the one that Goldfish, we need to make sure it happens very quickly. And it might be something, man, make it fun, make it exciting, right? Like as an example, if I looked at you and you're doing the home inspection, and the very first thing I see is water gushing out of a broken pipe, that gets my attention, right? So I'd want to see something like that maybe, right? Maybe it'd be one of those things where, you know, somebody's swinging it and you don't have to physically hit the hammer, but it can be doing like this, you know? It's not as easy as hitting the nail on the head to pick the right construction company. Wow. I don't know where this stuff comes from. It's channeling from who knows. Andrew Spasmy knows. Okay, so these are the kind of things. Yes, ma'am.
Would you recommend more than one video
Oh God, yes.
on the website?
Yes, because Google loves video. Who owns YouTube? Google. Do you think they're going to help your product bubble up if you have more videos on there? You betcha. We have one website, gang, with over 300 videos on it.
Wow.
It always is ranked high in video or on Google, always. And our clients love that because it's all about our clients.
Well, how do you get 300 benefits?
Because now
You're just showing what your company does.
No. Here's the cool thing. I call it the Amazon effect. One day I had detached retina. I'm having it real quickly. I had this vision of what this business should be like. So I said, hey, what if I come out to a little video of you? And so when people are searching, they search and they say, hey, I'm looking for someone to take care of my bins, right? And I type it in because you don't have that on your video, or on your website. You may not have a website. It's on our website. and I type it in, guess where it takes it? It's to our site, your video. We don't sell anything on there except the businesses that are on there, their information.
Linking is what basically.
Well, it's one of those things, if he doesn't have a video, we do, and we're ranked #1, what does it do? Does it help us or help him? Yes, it does. Helps them both, right? If we did a construction video for you, immediately we can tell you we can put you in front of thousands of people every month, and we put you on the first page of Google. How good is that, right? That's what we do. So videos, is there a number you should have on there? Gosh, think of YouTube as a website. How many videos are on there? You think they like video? You bet. So there is no limit, right? Every time I had a client and there's a testimonial, I'd put it on there. Every time I have a really cool video that we do for a client, I'd put it on there as a link. Every time we have a construction or we have a situation where you made that transition for the family so easy, put it on there. Every time you help a client make more money because of the website you designed or the services, boom. Or you gave them back time, right? And freedom. I'd put that on there. Every time I walk in, someone says, man, your back is clean. Well, thank you. I was afraid you'd barely notice. So these are some of the things. Now, if we talked about all the things you need to do, all the nuts and bolts about video, it's a week-long class. You don't have to make it that complicated. We said something earlier. When we do this, we want to try to break it down to an age 7 level. So it's easy to understand. Make sure your message is, if I showed it to a bright 7-year-old, do they get it? We don't talk about all the technical stuff, right? Make it easy to understand. Don't use your vernacular when you're talking about your product. Like I bet there, like yesterday we were talking to a client and it's a WPK 137.2 or something. What the heck does that mean? Who cares? But what does it do? What does it really mean? So we put that in the description so people get it. Right? Oh, that's that actuator. What's an actuator? It stops the water from coming in your house in 3 seconds. Can't make a big mess. I want to thank you guys for coming. Before you go, again, Ron is in the background. You had something you wanted to mention about an event coming up?
When we have the evaluation forms?
They're right in front of them.
Okay.
Yep.
All over my.
And secondly,
oh, sorry.
What I'm going to pass out here is a little flyer, but there's SBA's coming out here at the end of July. On the 29th, we're putting on a unique workshop. It's mainly designed for people over 50. A lot of people move out here and they all of a sudden they find that retirement wasn't what they thought it was going to be, or they get bored and they want to go to work. So this is for the encore entrepreneurs, they call it. So we tell them how options they have to get in business. So if anybody again needs any mentoring, it's confidential, it's free. And we're also at SCORE right now looking for new mentors to help us out. We're finding that we're changing one thing. It used to be all retired people. Getting people getting involved have been successful and want to help share, and they have the time to do it. So if you're working and still want to share, it's a way of you can be now part of SCORE itself in that respect. I want to thank you all for coming today, and give me thank the Chamber for basically hosting this today. Most of you members of the Chamber here?
Oh, we're not.
Okay.
We'd like to be.
Okay.
Where's the next one? Where's the next one?
Next one, it's going to be next week, and
Tell you?
yeah, I'm sorry, it's on our website. You can always go to our website, scorecv.org. Let's what's next week.
We're actually going to be at the SCORE office.
Well, SCORE office, okay.
43100. Yep.
I was in Cook Street.
And we're going to talk about content marketing, which in essence, video is content marketing. Okay. By the way, those of you, and again, thank you, Ron. Thank you, everyone, for having us here. For those of you interested in what we do, because we are not retired, we're called Gap Education. In other words, we fill in the stuff that the mentors really don't know about or they haven't dealt with because things have changed in the last 5 to 7 years. There are little handouts. One is kind of gives you an overview of what we do in our business, and also for Andrew. So if you're a do-it-yourselfer, he has a great program. You can consume this stuff online. He'll walk you right through it. So it's a great program. So I encourage you to all take one of these. That would be great. In fact, we're not going to unlock the doors until you do. But anyway, thank you all very, very much. We hope to see you next week. We'll also have, there's a couple places you can sign up. You can go to the SCORE website and sign up for next week. Also, if you're not a member, we have a group called Meetup, and you can go there and sign up. We'd appreciate that. We would kind of get a head count and make sure to bring the right goodies and coffee on that morning. All right.
So it's next Tuesday at 7:30 at the SCORE office?
Yes. Yes. Thank you very much for coming. Oh, before you leave, by the way, how did you find out about us? Was it through the SCORE email? Great. Email. Good.
New message from
Veronica, how did you find out about us?
Website.
Website. Very good.
Score.
SCORE. Excellent. Excellent. Good. Thank
Also,
you all.
one thing we're having on the SCORE website now, we're doing a little testing, some feedback we'd love to have is that you can actually go to the SCORE website now and you can start to look at the chamber events. We only have one there for next month, which is the combined Indio, La Quinta,